Hello and welcome to Connected episode 601. We survived the clip show, and now we're back. The normal episode. I'm your annual chairman, Stephen Hackett. I am joined by Myke Hurley.
It's a pleasure to be here as always.
Hello.
Once again, the meat inside of this sandwich, and I am happy to introduce keynote chairman Federico Viticci.
Hello, Mr. Meat. How are you?
That's what they call me. I'm great. I'm great. I'm really good. Federico, Mac Gaming has returned, and it's back in business.
Sure.
I saw a link on Mac Stories so we spoke about this a while ago. Game Hub, which is... Game Hub is an app for Android made by a company called GameSir. GameSir make gaming hardware like controllers. And it turns out that this app called Game Hub, which is on Android, has been using some work that Valve had been doing secretly to allow for emulation of PC games on Android. And it works surprisingly well if you have beefy enough hardware. You can play top-tier PC games on an Android phone. GameSir announced that Game Hub was coming to the Mac. So I assume it's doing a similar thing, really, because it's emulating Linux on ARM, right? Is essentially what's happening here. Like Linux, because Steam's games are ported to Linux, so that's kind of how that works. So am I simplifying that in an okay way?
No. Yeah. That's
okay.
Yeah.
I'm doing this is a massive oversimplification just for the sake of the conversation. And so they announced that they were bringing this to the Mac. We spoke about this when it happened. It seems to be in a beta and getting out into the world. And one of our favorite YouTubers around handheld gaming, Retro Game Core, Russ did a video on his YouTube channel kind of showing off a bunch of PC games that are running right now on the Mac, which are not Mac games and are not available on the Mac. He is running them on a MacBook Pro with Game Hub. Now, only, maybe about half of the 20 games that he played were playable, but this is kind of how you would expect as this starts to roll out. It's usually like a lot of tweaking starts to happen on the back end and more games become available. But the games that did work, the performance was very good. This is really interesting. So essentially, this is completely like on the up and up. You are playing your purchased Steam games on the Mac via Game Hub. Super cool.
Really shows off the raw power of Apple Silicon and how it the theory that with any emulation, video game emulation, you throw compute at the problem, you're most likely gonna fix that problem. That theory continues to hold true because we're looking at a AAA game like Pragmata made by Capcom. One of the early contenders for Game of the Year came out 2 weeks ago. It can already be emulated on a Mac with Game Hub. And that to me just essentially shows off how with this kind of emulation layer, the more powerful CPU with some GPU help on the side, because supposedly Game Hub will take advantage of some metal acceleration in terms of frame interpolation and that sort of stuff. But it mostly, like any other emulation, it mostly falls on the CPU. And when you have a CPU as powerful as Apple Silicon on the Mac, of course, depending on the kind of Mac model that you have, but you can just plow your way through these games.
Yeah.
And it's just... At this point, it's honestly wild to me that Apple is not doing anything more official or modern than the Mac game porting toolkit that they sort of tried a couple of years ago. This is clearly the future. The future is not the Apple convincing a whole bunch of developers to come and make native Mac games. The future is to accept that the majority of gaming happens on Windows and to an extent Linux, and do whatever you can with an emulation layer in the middle to tap into that entire market without having to go a la carte and convince all of those developers to please make a Mac version like 18 months after the original game launched on PC.
Yeah. So the game, just so I'm clear, the game porting toolkit, it's still around, but it's a developer tools, right? Like if I wanted to play a PC game, I couldn't use game porting toolkit software.
There used to be a UI for it called Whiskey.
Okay.
That's been since discontinued, I believe, by the developer. I'm not sure if somebody else made basically like a wrapper around the toolkit after Whiskey.
Okay.
And I personally still think that it is not impossible to imagine that at some point in the future, Valve just make this a reality themselves, rather than needing to use a tool like GameHub. But we'll see when we get there. I think I can imagine it because they're trying to make this work. I mean, they've got a lot of conflicting desires at Valve with wanting to also be a big-time hardware maker, but that isn't working for them right now, through no fault of their own. So I wouldn't be surprised if at some point in the future they made this somewhat official, but we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. We spoke about Clips last week. Apple's now long gone, but not dead in our hearts video editor for the iPhone. And Richard wrote in and said, "What a joy Clips was." Okay.
Okay.
That's setting the tone. Setting the tone. I was a creative at an Apple store when it was introduced, and we had tons of fun demoing it for customers and using it for my own fun videos. Look at how forward-thinking it was with its simplified interface, all of that graphic content, and the captions. It was a true influence in all the newer social media video apps that have surpassed it today. Thanks for the little, but now sad, trip down a software memory lane.
I'm just going to say it wasn't an influence on any of these apps. Like, it wasn't. It may have been doing some things sooner. Like, I think, something like Edits, right, from Instagram, which does automatic captions and stuff. Clips had nothing to do with the life of Edits. It didn't. Even though, yes, it was doing these things, and it was impressive that it was doing them. I really don't think we can draw a lineage between these tools. I think it's more about what people are asking for as opposed to Clips' dominance in the landscape.
I think that's probably fair. There is something to be said, I think, of like Apple having a tool like this that's not directly tied to like Instagram or Snap or whatever, but I don't think Clips was ever going to be able to compete with those either because it wasn't built into those tools, right? Like Edits and CapCut and these other tools, like they're popular because they know and are built for like exactly the output, and Clips was a little bit different in that regard. And I think I don't know if it suffered for it, but it definitely wasn't like look, it's kind of the same problem I think Casey ran into with his app for putting emoji on your kids' faces, whose name has escaped me.
Oh yeah.
Sorry,
I'm scanning
Casey.
my brain and it's not working.
Yeah. I just think about fast text.
I was like, there must be a pun in here somewhere.
Yeah.
But it
Peak of you.
No, that was
Masquerade. There you go.
It's like,
what is Peek-a-View? What is Peek-a-View though?
That's where you can like say you want to show somebody some photos on your phone, but you don't want them to accidentally scroll to things they shouldn't see. So you can like pre-select a bunch of images like a slideshow and send it to someone.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So it's kind of like how, Masquerade was a really great idea. Like a lot of people want to use emoji to just hide something in a photo. But the second you could do that, like when editing your Instagram story, like, okay, well, that's that requires less friction. And I think Clips was probably never going to be able to overcome that friction, even if they were there first with some of their ideas.
Because even like something like Edits, like Instagram has an incentive to update that frequently with new features. And it is like, I can't speak to CapCut, but Edits I use a lot, and it's always getting better at a rate that Apple wouldn't do because their skin is not in the game on this one, Like they don't have a social network that is propped up by the content that is created in Clips. So something like Edits is going to receive more features because Instagram want content to be put on Instagram.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Would you like some more details on my backup journey? I think we may be coming to a close on this.
Okay.
I think I feel pretty content. So I now have iDrive installed and it's fully backed up my Mac. and my Dropbox account via their API integration, which is actually very cool the way that it does that. I just have a little dashboard that I can go onto the web and I can see that it's backing up my Dropbox kind of like on its own. And I like that my internet connection is not involved in that at all, right? Like I think that's actually quite a nice feature. I have a criticism with the iDrive app. They have a menu bar app that only sometimes seems to appear. And so like knowing that your backup is occurring is like you have to open the full app. I have to open the full app most of the time to see that it's happened. And I'm sure in time I'm not going to bother about this anymore because it's just doing its thing in the background. But as I'm a new customer of iDrive, I'm like, are you actually doing what I want you to be doing? And it seems like it is. I had another person contact me about a crucial drive failing with APFS. I don't know what to do about this. Like I'm kind of in it at this point. I have things set up. If my drive fails, I will either start again or we'll move to something else. But the biggest thing for me right now is I have everything set up the way that I want to, and that's what I was looking for. And so I'll just deal with it if the time comes. I'm not, all of this is like nothing is going on that drive that doesn't live somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like that's the point of it. It's my Dropbox. And Dropbox lives on Dropbox and now lives in iDrive. So I'll deal with this in the future if I have to.
Yeah. I don't think it's APFS for the record. I think that's just how people are using SSDs now. I think just Crucial maybe struggles with reliability when compared to the likes of Samsung. But yeah, you've got it now. Like, it is
Samsung is what I would have wanted, but I couldn't get a drive. They didn't actually have a drive at the size that I wanted. And even if they did, it would have been massively more expensive. So I'm going with where I am going right now, and I just hope that it lasts long enough.
Yeah. And because it's a backup, right? Like if something happens to it, it's like it stinks and you got to deal with it, but it's not going to like blow up your work week because you suddenly can't get your files, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then Federico, I mentioned last week that I was using Tailscale and I got it all set up. And I think you had a couple of questions for me, and I'm intrigued because these sounds like features that I should know about.
Yeah, first of all, I wanted to know if you are, I know that you are a Claude Cowork primarily user, right? Yeah. So since you have a Telnet, as it's called now, I was kind of wondering if you have created any little web apps for yourself using Claude that you can access on your private network.
So there's a couple of things here. So I have created some web apps that are just local apps. They're just, I launched them via double-clicking on HTML files, right?
Yeah.
I can access them somewhere else, can I, now? Go use Tailscale? How does that work?
Well, okay, so the idea is that you ask your agent of choice. In this case, it's Claude for you. Usually the way I go about this is that I have some local apps and I ask Claude or Codex, hey, can you create a launch the agent that keeps this up and running on my Mac?
Right.
So that, if my computer restarts or something crashes, the web app, comes up again and it's online. And assign it to a particular port on this computer so that I can just type my Tailscale address followed by a colon and the name of the port. And that basically becomes a persistent URL to access that web app every single time. And only I can access it because it's part of my Telnet.
That sounds very interesting. Because I have a couple right now and they're just available on one of my Macs. Yeah. And I would like to not have that be the case. So I'm going to look into that. I didn't even know this was a thing. So that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, the idea is that you do this on a Mac that is always on, and always accessible.
Well, I have one now. It's always on. So
yeah. So you can do that. And another feature, actually, OTJ got me into this one. I was looking for a way to. I was wondering if there was an easier way for me to share files from one computer to an iPhone or one computer to another using Tailscale. Turns out they have built exactly this feature. It's called Tail Drop. You need to turn it on manually because it's still labeled as a beta feature. Okay. But it's basically it's kind of like AirDrop, but for devices on your Telnet. The idea being that every device gets a nickname on your network. and you basically say, I mean, I mostly use it with Claude or Codex, but I can just say things like tail drop this to my iPhone, and tail drop essentially takes one file and copies it to a destination device. In the case of iOS, it puts it in a folder in the Files app called Tailscale, and it just copies it. It's a utility that copies files on your Telnet from one device to another, and you can use it manually from the share sheet, or you can use it with your agent of choice, because it's got
very cool.
It's got a command line integration. So if you want to use it with Claude, you can say, hey, take this file and send it, tail drop it to my iPad. Claude will do it. Very useful. Very basic, but very useful.
And I guess it's like the file sizes can be as big as I want.
Yeah. It just copies the file, whatever.
That's
Doesn't
cool.
care. Yeah.
And then I don't even need to be in the place, do I? Like it's
No,
like with AirDrop,
exactly.
I have to be in the physical location.
You can be
but
anywhere.
with this, I don't need to be. I'm going to look into this.
So what I did, I grabbed a link to the official Tailscale documentation for Taildrop. I sent it to Codex, and I was like, okay, I want you to set this up for me based on the official documentation and create a reusable skill for it. And also, my devices in my Telnet have weird names. And so I told Codex, give them aliases. So like instead of being iPad 17.4, whenever I say iPad or iPad Pro, that's those are nicknames for that device.
Yeah.
And I said, set it up so that you know how to use this. And so whenever I need a file off of my Mac Studio, for example, that's what I can do. I can talk to my agent and be like, hey, can you grab that PDF from the downloads folder and tail drop it to my iPhone? And a couple of seconds later, it does that.
Oh, and you can do it from the iOS share sheet too.
You can do it from the share sheet.
That's
you can
cool.
do it from the Mac share sheet.
Clever.
Yeah, man. Tailscale is pretty cool. I don't know why it's free, but it's incredible.
I don't understand Tailscale.
Yeah.
No one does.
Like, I guess what they're doing is they build a free product that people like so much, just like how Slack started, right? That you will convince your business to adopt it because you get so used to it. I think that is Obsidian is like this too, right? Like, here is like a free product in the hopes that people will like it so much that businesses...
Yeah, because they make money off of the team stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's the idea, right? People get so... that it's funny to think that was kind of how that was like Slack's beginning as well. Like, you eventually, it becomes so useful that people want to use it at work. And then the work, like things that a corporation would need, they charge for. And so that's how they make their money. But I can't believe it's free. They should have, I should pay them something, I feel like. But thank you, Taildrop. Or Tailscale.
Tailscale.
Yeah. I've got it set up just on my home Mac Mini. And then I have Screens 5, the VNC remote client. You talked about this, Myke. I have it set up so I can hit my Mac Mini via screen sharing from anywhere, but I don't really have the need for like there's no files on that Mac Mini, and I guess I do have files that are just on my MacBook Pro, but anything important is in Dropbox for work or iCloud Drive for personal stuff, and I can hit my NAS from the internet, and so I have not really built out Tailscale like in the full, like it's on all my computers, and I'm not routing all my like web traffic when I'm out and about the coffee shop through my home network. Like I haven't gone into it that far, but there are times where like I need in my network on a Mac, that Mac Mini's always on, and it lets me do that. Some people are hardcore about it though. This episode of Connected is brought to you by Kelford Inc. When consultants, communicators, and advisors don't know what to say in their marketing, Kelford shows them the way. They speak in plain language about how marketing works and how it can work for you, without pushing you to cold call, post on socials you hate, or spend a fortune on ads that won't pay you back. Head on over to kelfordinc.com. That's KELFORDINC. kelfordinc.com, and read a few back issues of their newsletter to get a taste of how they work with their clients. If you want to know what to say, they will show you the way. That URL one more time is kelfordinc.com. Go check out their newsletter and see the great work they're doing with their clients. Thanks to our friends at Kelford Inc. for the support of the show and all of Relay.
So I had a pretty silly idea a few days ago, or actually last week. Told you guys about it. You said go for it, and I did go for it all the way. So it all started, but with this thought of like, I find most conversations about like Tim Cook and John Turner's, not boring, but like, yeah, I get it. Like that happened. How can we spice it up a little on the Connected program? Because we like to do things our way. So I came up with this thought of like, why don't we do a Tim Cook tier list of all Tim Cook quotes over the years, since his over the course of his CEO tenure at Apple.
He said a lot,
and I mean, of course, like that. I mean, that sounds funny, but it was still a pretty basic idea. Like, okay, let's collect a bunch of Tim Cook quotes and tier list the Tim Cook quotes. That's, I mean, fine, funny, but like not groundbreaking. And then I realized, well, okay, how about I take this to the next level? Fresh off my OpenAI Codex subscription, I thought, well, why don't I don't want to gather all of the Tim Cook quotes manually. I'm going to have the AI gather those quotes on the web for me. The AI can search the web, can scrape web pages. I mean, it's literally what it does.
It did it already.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Did it already. It's going to do it again. What's one more scraping in the grand scheme of things? And so that was the next step. And then the other, so I guess there's a bunch of steps involved here, really. It basically cascaded into this idea of I'm going to vibe code my own unhinged Tim Cook quote tier list web app, and I'm going to share it with my fellow connected hosts.
Yes.
And we can put screenshots. I'm going to take a screenshot right now.
I've already put one in Discord.
Okay, thank you, Myke.
So we can put them in the show notes too.
That
Maybe
is
before and after or something we can have.
Yeah, that is I explicitly told, it was actually a funny design process because I started the mockup in ChatGPT Images 2, and I said, I want you to make a stupid, absolute silly web app for tier listing Tim Cook quotes. And I gave it a bunch of Tim Cook photos that I manually grabbed from the web, and I said, go crazy, make it unhinged.
You chose these photos?
I chose the
They're
photos.
so good.
Yeah, because I Googled, I believe I Googled Tim Cook weird on Google Images, and that's what it found. and so I saved the photos to my downloads folder, and then I gave them to ChatGPT. I said, make a mock-up that is unhinged and funny. And then I took the mock-up and I opened Codex and I said, I want you to follow this mock-up and implement it as a web app. And it took a few hours because then I needed to make a database of quotes, double check the quotes. I needed a way to edit the quotes, as we'll see in a couple of minutes. They needed some
they needed
massaging.
A lot of work. They needed a lot of work.
And I needed to give you guys access to the web app running on my Mac Studio server. I needed a way for you to make edits, not just me. And obviously the interactions needed to work. The one thing I didn't do was mobile support because the UI, this scrapbook style, was so involved. And it wasn't necessary because we were gonna screen share at our Macs. So I just didn't want to bother wasting tokens on iPhone support.
Yeah. It reminds me in the best possible way of like the bananas nature of like iOS 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
Like someone would have shipped this and be like, yeah, it's pretty good.
I believe somewhere in the prompt I said,
that's a different podcast.
Yes. Try and add some iOS 6 like skeuomorphic throwbacks. And I think as we will use together screen sharing the app today, we will come across some hidden Easter eggs that I also added.
Okay, good for us. This the UI for this web app, it feels not just like iOS of that level, but like specifically iPad iOS design of that time.
Yeah.
That is what it feels like to me, where it's like, what if we made it look like it's a photocopy of a piece of paper taken out of a ring binder or whatever? It's like, okay, great, let's do that. Let's do that.
Myke, I believe you did the most editing of the three of us of those AI quotes. Why?
Well, so what the system was able to do was to pull the interesting things that Tim said, but it basically in every instance didn't pull the correct part of the quote. Like did not pull the interesting part. And so maybe we can start with this one just to explain my point. So it's the toaster fridge quote.
Yeah.
Essentially what the system pulled out was the quote said, "I'm not introducing that next week." Like that was the quote that it pulled out.
Yeah.
But then it has like, you built in a thing for a source so we can go check it. And the actual interesting quote is, "I read this thing. You can converge a fridge and a toaster. I'm not introducing that next week." And so this is about like the toaster fridge idea. So like you can, like this is Tim talking about like putting everything together. I think the idea was putting together the iPad
tablet.
and the Mac.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, you want to converge everything and make a toaster fridge." That's the quote, but it just pulled in, "I'm not introducing that next week," which I thought was very funny. So I went in and added the correct part of the quote in.
Which, by the way, Apple, totally a tangent, but quite famously, Apple has this fixation with kitchen appliances when it comes to computer hybrids. Because if you recall, in my interview with Craig Federico last year, Craig used a different metaphor, used a spork as a metaphor for a convertible device, a spoon and a fork. So it stays in the kitchen, apparently, when it comes to hybrid devices at Apple. Famously, obviously, it started with Tim Cook and the toaster fridge.
Toaster fridge.
So do we want to rank this one?
I think we should. Here's the interesting things. Like I was thinking about this today. So obviously we're doing standard tier listing, this quote.
Yeah.
I read this thing, "You can converge a fridge and a toaster. I'm not introducing that next week." So that's
very famous quote.
Very famous. The toaster fridge is something we still use now. It's similar, I think, in use case to the truck metaphor that Steve Jobs made. So Jobs was not so much about home appliances, I guess.
No, more vehicles, bicycles.
He was more vehicle based. Yeah, bicycles, trucks.
I wonder what John's metaphor sort of a theme will be. Maybe animals. I don't know.
Could be animals.
So, boys, I have a theory I want to share on this show.
Okay.
So, friend of the show, we mentioned this last time, Austin Evans, referenced a Wall Street Journal article about John Turnus saying that he was fast around the Laguna Seca Speedway.
Racetrack.
Yeah.
It's a racetrack, but it's called the Speedway. The Instagram account, the new Hello Instagram account, Hello Apple, sorry, they posted a reel, right, that I sent to Steven because I thought it was so interesting, which I now don't see on their account, which is, let me see if I can find it. Where is that gone? Maybe they were reposting something, so maybe it doesn't show up. And it's from Porsche, right? And it is a helmet, an Apple computer race helmet.
Yeah.
Right? And it is referencing an old Apple Porsche
race car.
Thank you so much. From, when was this, the 80s or something?
I think so.
Which had like these Apple stripes on it, and it had like Apple computer styled in the Apple II font or whatever.
I know what you're gonna say, and Porsche has a press release saying what you're gonna say.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so my theory was that John Turnus is driving this car.
Oh, no way. No.
That's my theory.
No,
my
he's
theory
too valuable now. He's too valuable now.
My theory is John Turnus is getting in the Porsche race car. That's my theory. But
No.
okay, they have announced that they're doing the livery throwback.
Yes.
That part wasn't interesting to me. What I'm saying is John Tannis is getting in this car. That's what I'm saying. I'm just putting it out there.
John, get in the car. I mean, come on.
I think John's getting in the car. That's what
get in the car, John. Do
Get
it.
in the car, John.
Anyway, so we should say also we're starting. We're doing the quotes in order, like we have organized them in years.
Mhm.
So right now we're just beginning in the 2011 to 2012 era.
Okay.
I feel like I was building up to something that I never finished, which is what is the theme? Like, sorry, how are we thinking about the tiering? Right? So, like, what is an S tier quote? Do we have like a vibe feeling on that? Like, is it something impactful, ridiculous?
S tier quote, and I hope actually this quote is in the database. Tim Cook saying, "When it comes to accessibility, I don't care about the bloody Roy." You know, that kind of stuff. That is an S tier.
Okay.
Okay.
I think we know it when we see it, in the words of a great philosopher.
Yes.
Did you just pronounce ROI as Roy?
He did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I did not clock that quote at first. I'm like, what is he saying?
I did.
Yeah. He's bullish. He's bullish on the ROI.
I've never heard anyone do
He's
that.
otterish.
Federico's a completely different kind of finance influencer.
He is.
Making
He is.
stuff up.
So, okay. So we're going to start with the oldest ones and work our way towards the future. That's the plan?
Mm-hmm. You should remove the filter that you have in the
Yeah, well, I searched for
field.
toaster. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So, up first. This is from 2012. iCloud and Siri are things that you'll talk with your grandkids about as profound changes.
Okay. So we can all agree that we won't. And so, like, this is my point of, like, that is a hilarious thing to say, but it's also ridiculously wrong. So is it top or bottom? You know what I mean? Like, I can't work out where to put these things on the tier list.
I think we also need to read the commentary for the tier list. So F is straight to jail.
Yeah.
E, yikes, don't love this.
Yeah.
D, not it, chief. C, meh, it's fine. B, solid take, great leader energy. A, amazing, chef's kiss. And then S is absolute goat material.
This is the best kind of AI writing. You know what I mean?
It's very...
Like, what are we doing?
You know all the reporting that Gen Z hates AI? This is why, because it's trying to talk like a youth.
Yeah, that is spot on.
Yeah.
It, for some reason, it's trying to talk like a kid and it's failing.
I also think part of my original prompt was go for maximum cringe.
You did, and it has.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
And it
Comic
has.
Sans. So,
Yeah.
I think actually that's fair. You did ask for cringe, and it has served us with cringe.
I think this is not it, chief.
I agree. Not it, chief, because it's a good quote, but it's obviously not it, chief.
Yes. All right, so we are back now to the one we were just talking about. So I read this thing. You can converge a fridge and a toaster. I'm not introducing that next week. This is from 2012 as well.
I think it's A.
Okay, that's an all-timer, first of all.
Yeah.
So not below A tier, I would say.
I don't think it's S tier.
I don't think it's S tier.
Yeah.
I don't think it's B tier.
I think he has some S tier stuff in here.
Yeah.
And I don't think this is on that level.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is A tier, especially because it has persisted for so long as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's an all-timer.
Okay. Up next, we have a quote from Tim Cook being interviewed. He was answering a question about litigation and patents and whether that harms innovation. And he said, and I quote, "It's a pain in the..."
Yeah. S tier.
Yeah. What I like about this is, like, you are part of the problem. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, you are part of this issue. A bunch of these quotes came from, like, D10 and stuff like that, which is such a shame that we don't have those anymore.
That was a good conference.
Because Walton Carr just did such a great job. Like, if you weren't around for when they got Jobs and Gates on stage together, like, that was monumental.
It's all on YouTube. You should go watch it.
You should go watch it for sure. But, like, when they announced it was happening, man, it was unbelievable.
It was.
I'll put a link in the show notes. If you have never seen it, it is excellent. Like it really is. Like they do a great job together. They have good chemistry. Weirdly, it's brilliant.
Gates and
Brilliant,
Jobs.
brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they've known each other, basically their whole lives. Like it really is. It's great. So back to this one. What do we think?
I mean, I would go for S tier myself, but
The only thing that keeps it out of S for me, and I could be persuaded, is that this one isn't widely known. Like I didn't know this reference when I saw the quote. I had to go read the source material.
I don't remember this.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not S tier.
And it's not toaster fridge level either.
It's not. It's okay. So we're thinking B tier. Maybe?
I think B,
because it's high up, but not A. Not okay.
Yeah.
Okay, B tier.
Okay.
All right. Oh yeah, this is
so
another for the ages.
The context. This quote is about TV. I'm going to read it in a second, but the context is, for whatever reason, at the end of his life, Steve Jobs told a bunch of people that he had cracked TV.
Yep.
But
in the book.
It's in the book, but he didn't tell anybody what he meant. And so, everyone was running around trying to figure out what that was. I mean, this was like a huge thing in like the financial tech press. And
yes.
And
what's the name of the guy?
Genuinely, someone just wrote into Upgrade. Like we're probably going to do this in a couple of weeks' time or something as a Ask Upgrade, referencing this. It's still happening. Someone was like, Steve Jobs said he'd crack TV. Do you think that it happened? Like, do you think we have now done it? So I love that it continues to return.
Yeah.
It's almost like Jobs is just screwing with everyone. Like it was like a curse or something that he put on everybody at Apple. It was like, you work it out.
For context, this is also the time when, remember that analyst Gene Master was obsessed with the idea of Apple making an actual television.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So those were the times. And
it's the conversations. We definitely had this conversation too of like, how will Apple manage the logistics in the Apple Store with televisions? They're so much bigger than computers. Like these are like all the conversations that we were having kind of around the 2010 time period. Good times. Simple times, So the quote is, this is Tim Cook talking to NBC's Brian Williams, and they're talking about kind of turning on a living room TV and what that experience is like in 2012. Tim says, when I go into my living room and turn on the TV, I feel like I've gone backwards in time by 20 to 30 years.
Okay, Tim.
Using an old plasma TV in the living room.
It's like his TV's built into a piece of furniture. You remember those?
He's using a CRT to play Super Mario Brothers or something.
I think that this is more of a Tim Cook problem than an everybody else problem. You know?
It's a skill issue, Tim. Not a
skill issue. Get good, Tim.
I think
this is a D tier, right?
I think it's
not it,
it's D. This is D. Not it.
This is not it, Chief. By the way, I would like to say that maybe at the end we could do the patented re-rank in case we want to move anything around.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm not sure, Steven, what's going to happen when the rows fill up with quotes. Can you try and click somewhere in a row? I think it should give you like a pop-up with all the quotes, maybe.
Nope.
We'll find out. We'll find out what happens.
Oh yeah.
You
can.
You can.
Okay. I built a
Weird.
support for that. Nice. Okay.
Soft. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So we're now into.
I would like to apologize for the visual nature of this episode.
Yeah.
We have no visual component available.
Maybe someone should turn podcasts into YouTube videos.
I don't think it'll work.
No.
I don't think it'll work. So there's nothing we can do about it.
Okay. In 2013, I think this is a Jason story because it says this is Tim.
This is a Jason. This is Tim. So that's the. Even though it says Macworld stuff, this is definitely Jason doing this. The transcription of the earning of a conference.
No, I think it's Tim Cook again at the Goldman Sachs conference.
Oh, okay.
Which
if
also
it says
used to be
this
a
is
thing.
Tim, I'm convinced that Jason Snell wrote this.
It's Jason style.
So Cook was being pushed on making less expensive iPhones, and this is the beginning of 2013. So we are in the iPhone 5C era, right? That came out in the summer of 13. This is right before then. And pushing back, he says, the only thing we'll never do is make a crappy product.
Now, I'm just going to make a push.
Sure.
Please.
I think this is S tier because this
No.
is the attitude of Tim Cook that I enjoy when he says something like it kind of is close to the pain in the thing, but not entirely. Where he will just say a thing. It's like, oh, this is actually who he is. Like he will talk like this, but you got to catch him in it. And like he will say something like, the only thing we'll never do is make a crappy product, which is definitely not the PR line, I feel like. This is like, oh, Tim said a thing. There are a few of these kinds of quotes in here. This is one of them. Maybe it's not S tier, but this is like getting up to what I like about when Tim has stuff to say.
Yeah. I think I struggle with it the way to the previous one, where like I didn't know this one didn't jump off the page and he's like, oh yeah, Tim Cook said that.
Okay.
But I like what you're saying, and I do like sort of the attitude that Cook had towards some of these things, which I feel like became duller over time. He was spicier in the beginning. I could definitely see a B, I think is where I would put it. I don't know. What do you think, Federico?
I think we meet Myke somewhere in the middle and we give it an A tier.
Okay.
Thinking about it now, the vibe that I enjoy, I know there are some memorable ones in here.
Yeah.
That I think could maybe get up a little bit higher. I appreciate it. These investor things is where he does get the most annoyed, I think.
Yeah.
So that's a good one.
Yeah, and also this used to be annual interviews back in the day. I don't think they stopped at a certain point.
Yeah.
And as we'll see later in the list, the team started doing interviews with magazines, for example, which is not something that I used to do before. Yeah.
Okay.
Next up. Oh, same conference.
Same conference. Apple had a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's cute that in 2013 people thought Apple had a lot of money because, like, boy, did we not know what was coming. And he basically says the cash is not burning a hole in our pocket. So Apple wasn't going to go out and spend on things that it didn't feel like it should spend on.
This is also, I think, a quite popular Tim Cook
It's
quote
pretty good. Pretty good.
from back in the day.
1 year and 3 months later, they paid $3 billion for pizza. So I don't know, man. Maybe it was.
Maybe it wasn't a hole, but maybe like a teeny tiny.
It was
the
$3
lack of a
billion?
music streaming service was burning a hole in their bank accounts.
Yeah.
Which is better to say.
Yeah. I think it's an A or B.
No, it's a B. Probably
I
a
think B. Yeah, I think this feels more B to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yet another. Man, he was just popping off at this Goldman Sachs conference.
Oh, yeah. This is when he used to say stuff.
That's true.
I think he hated these events.
Yes,
So
he did.
that's why he got spicy.
He did.
Yes.
There were questions about things like the iPad mini. So on one hand, people wanted a cheaper iPhone. On the other hand, someone else was worried about, could the iPad mini eat into the sales of other Apple products? And I think what Tim says here, the quote is, if we don't cannibalize, someone else will. And I really, really like this quote because it is the same feeling. Y'all just talked about an upgrade. The iPod Nano replacing the iPod mini, the most popular music player in the world. We're going to replace it. They knew that the iPhone was going to kill the whole iPod line, but they did it, right? I think this is sort of core to Apple. Like they are willing, maybe less now, but they are willing to sacrifice one of their own product lines for something better. I think it's pretty core to where the company should be.
Yeah, I like this quote. I would give it an A tier personally because I'm still kind of saving myself for the S tier. I think there's one coming up that I can make a case for. But yeah, I really like this one. So I would say A tier probably.
Okay.
And we can reassess later.
Yeah.
Obviously.
All right. now Mr. Cook goes to
Ooh,
Washington.
okay.
He's testifying before the U.S. Senate about Apple's tax practices. And he says, we pay all the taxes we owe, every single dollar.
Well, this is
Boo.
a C tier. Okay,
no,
sure.
you don't.
But he-
like, no, you don't. They had to change the laws, and then you got in trouble.
Yeah, they had to repatriate a bunch of money, right? Like Apple was playing within the bounds of the legal system, but the legal system had huge loopholes that they were taking advantage of. I think it's.
then,
Yeah.
I kind of think it's
straight
E.
to jail. Straight to
I'm not
jail.
sure they were playing technically within the law, right? Because they got fined by the European Union, didn't they?
Yeah, but
'Cause
the
then,
European
remember, it's the whole
Union-
thing. They got
psh.
fined, and Ireland didn't want the money. Like,
Not
please
even.
don't give it to us,
Yeah.
because they wanted Apple to continue doing what they were doing.
Like the EU is a real place. I think it's E.
Sure.
F feels special. Like
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, it's E.
I think it's
Yikes,
E.
don't love this. Okay.
because
Yeah.
I also do feel like, yikes, I don't love this.
exactly.
Okay, this is one that I've been waiting for.
Yes. Tell us about it.
So this is at the All Things D conference again. This year it's D11. We are in late May 2013. Speculation around, like, now Tim Cook has been CEO for more than a year and a half, going into 2 years. And everybody's thinking, okay, what's Tim Cook's breakthrough device gonna be?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And speculation was mounting at the time that it was gonna be a smartwatch, that it was gonna be, in the rumors at the time, the so-called iWatch.
iWatch, baby.
Remember that?
Oh,
yeah.
I
And
got a
so-
story about the name. Just if I can interject real
Okay.
quickly. I
Sure.
re-listened to the first episode of Upgrade recently.
Why'd you do that?
Y'all mentioned it a bunch, and I was like, I should go listen to it. It's a fascinating time capsule for many reasons. But the funniest thing about it to me is that Jason keeps calling it the iWatch and has to like stop and correct
Oh,
himself
yeah.
that the name is Apple Watch.
I mean, what are we gonna do? You know, you got to pick a
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
It's like what did we call the headset? Right? Was that what we called it?
The
headset?
The headset.
Or whatever the name was, and it became
Oh,
Vision
God.
Pro.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Mm.
Anyway, when asked about future devices and wearable computers, this is way before any announcement of the Apple Watch, Tim Cook said the very famous quote, "I think the wrist is interesting."
This is S tier.
S tier.
This is S tier.
Because this
What-
is a great quote. It's another thing that he does, right? Where he like vaguely references a product area
Yeah.
in the most vague way. And also just that is weird to say. I
Yeah.
think the wrist is interesting.
wrist is
What a
interesting.
weird thing to say. Like, what is there anything else you could be
Yes.
talking about? Why you just say what you're talking
Yes,
about?
I am into wrists.
Oh, I love wrists, man.
Hey, everyone's
big
got their
wrist
own
guy.
special thing. You know,
Yeah, that's true.
We're not shaming.
That's no shame. We're not wrist
Don't-
shaming here.
Don't wrist shame on this
Yeah.
show. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
But yeah,
man.
this quote started even more rumors. It was a
Oh,
whole
yeah.
thing.
Because it like later on he just goes, he's like talking about AR and sensors and like, oh, cars are super interesting. Like it's very, there's this old Apple saying that, isn't it funny, a ship that leaks from the top. And Tim Cook's not leaking product stuff here, but he kind of can't keep his mouth shut about what they're doing at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just very
Yeah.
interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Up next, we have another D11. This is from a roundup of interesting things that he said. And one of the questions was about Apple services appearing on Android. This is 2013. So this is early, it's before Apple Music, right? I think.
Yeah.
And he basically says, or he does say, we don't have a religious issue with porting an Apple app to Android. It's funny. They have done it a couple times. I think most people would say Apple's apps on Android aren't great Android apps.
I would say that Apple Music is pretty great.
Is it good?
I
Is it good? Okay.
I actually prefer the tablet layout of Apple Music on Android than iPadOS.
That's
hilarious.
a crazy
Um,
sentence.
Religious issue is such a strange phrase,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, and I get it. I know what it means. I'm sure I use it, but I don't know. It's just a weird. It's just a weird way to put it. You know?
Yeah.
I think it's C.
Yeah.
C,
Let's put our
C.
first C tier.
Yeah. Okay.
I've just noticed that the tiers, it has a little placeholder text that says "Drop Cook here."
Yeah.
It does.
Okay.
In
Why not?
in Comic Sans.
In Comic Sans. The use of Comic Sans throughout this is brilliant.
It
Brilliant.
is.
Love it.
Okay. This is September of 2013. This is after the 5S and the 5C launch. So earlier in the year, he's asked about less expensive products. We won't make crappy ones. These phones come out. And then he says, I don't consider it our job to make the most. It's our job to make the best.
And it is worth noting 5C failure, right? Is considered to not work. And like I've read, I have now, boys, I've finished Apple in China, so I now have all that information. So congratulations to me. There is like a good part of the book where they're talking about this, that like it didn't work. And so there was like a bit of concern about that. So
yeah. Here's I think here's the full the full context of it is like units and usage share, and can Apple like overtake the rest of the industry in terms of usage? And that's what the most is. We're not in the business of making the most number of phones, or the most popular platforms, but the best. And then it goes on and says, and having the best experience and having the happiest customers.
Yeah, it's a solid take. I thought that fits very nicely in B for me. Like,
yeah, it's B.
It's a good take to make. It's also a good take to make at a time where you maybe didn't sell as many as you thought you were going to sell. You know, like, that works.
Maybe so. Okay, this is we're down in 2014 in February.
Yeah.
Tim Cook is asked about bigger iPhones, because this is the pressure at the moment. Again, this is a few months before we see the 6 and the 6 Plus. And he disagrees with Federico's take about Android tablets.
Well, he said in a Wall Street Journal interview at the time that, and I'm quoting, the Android tablet experience is so crappy. I mean, it kind of was at the time, though. Remember the...
I mean, it's still not near the iPad.
It's
much better.
But it's much better. Remember what was it called? The iPad killer, the Motorola Xoom?
Zoom with an X.
Yeah, with an X.
With an X?
Yeah. And it ran, Honeycomb or something like that?
Honeycomb.
It's like a version of Android that only ever ran on tablets. So really only ran on, like,
I remember.
devices.
I miss Android dessert names.
They were good.
Do they not do that anymore?
No.
It's just numbers.
Oh, is it numbers now? I forgot it was numbers now.
Don't
they still have like Easter eggs though?
Yeah, I think it's like a code name, but it's not.
It's not.
It's not like a marketing name like Apple still does with locations. You know.
Okay.
The only good Android tablet in this era was the Nexus 7, and I will believe that until I die.
So good.
S tier product.
Great.
Okay.
That tablet was great.
I think this is fine. I don't think anyone really disagreed with it. I think he meant for it to be edgy, but it's like, yeah, you're right. You know, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
B, maybe?
B?
Oh, C. No, C.
C
It's
is
fine.
good.
It's fine.
C is good.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so this one. So Cook is responding to a shareholder group who's challenging Apple's environmental spending.
Yeah, this is what he hates.
He says, if that's a hard line for you, then you should get out of the stock. S tier, baby.
S tier.
S tier.
Yes. What we are learning so far is surprisingly, nothing annoys Tim Cook more than investors.
Shareholders.
It's the people he wants to please most are the ones that also hurt him the most.
That's interesting. Yeah. He should see a counselor. Okay. September of 2014, Tim Cook is interviewed by Charlie Rose. Just going to leave that there. And he's asked about following in Steve Jobs' footsteps, right? And we've talked on this a little bit about there's pressure about a new product category. Is Tim Cook the kind of leader Apple needs? All these things are really swirling. And he says, I'm not trying to be Steve Jobs. I'm trying to be the best Tim Cook I can be.
Oh,
it's good. I like this.
Yeah.
It's sweet.
A tier. It's sweet. I think it's sweet.
I think it's
not epic.
I think it's B.
But
it's B.
B or A. B. Maybe B. Like it's not. It's good. It doesn't have that
Spice.
extra factor, you know. Yeah. Yeah, we can go for B.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by Dock Pops. If you're like a lot of people, your macOS dock is probably jammed full of stuff that you're not actually using all that often, and maybe the stuff you do need there isn't there. It can get messy quick. Dock Pops fixes that. It sits in your dock and works like app folders on the iPhone. You click it and a clean grid of apps pop up and you're in. There's no menu bar clutter, no keyboard shortcuts to memorize. It's the app launcher your dock has always been missing. It makes it really useful to organize your apps into groups called pops. Maybe you have one for the whole Office suite, one for your creative tools, one for games, maybe one for all your podcast applications. You can swipe between them like pages or use the built-in shortcuts integration to give each one its own dock icon. DockPop is the debut app from a new indie Mac developer. It's a one-time purchase of $9.99 in the Mac App Store, no subscriptions. And you can try the free tier before you buy to see if it clicks for you. If your dock is a mess, then DockPops is here to help. And it handles files and folders as well, not just apps. So you can combine all the things you're working on together and get to them really quickly. And it works with the dock at the bottom, on the left, or on the right, where it belongs. Head on over to docpops.com/connected to get 30% off the DockPops Premium Upgrade. That's DockPops, DockPops, docpops.com/connected. Our thanks to DockPops for the support of the show and all of Relay.
So we're still in 2015. Cook now talking about Apple Pay's business model and the privacy that they want to go for with this. They say, you are not our product. That is our product. So Apple Pay, what he's saying is Apple Pay is the product, not you. Like he did. And again, guess where he's talking? Goldman Sachs conference. He's still there saying stuff. There's another one coming up in a minute from this conference. I think might have been later in the day. Might have been a bit more tired or hungry. I'm not sure. But this is, I like this, right? Like this is one of the, I think for good and bad, tenets of the Tim Cook era is the privacy messaging. And I say the good because there's a lot of good came out of it. But the bad is they are not perfect when it comes to privacy. And if you become so strong in your messaging on something, you set yourself up for some falls. And I think that they did that, right? Like, how many times did we see pictures of the CES banners, right? Where it's like everything that's on your iPhone stays in your iPhone, used in articles where there's breaches and privacy issues. And now, different countries are getting access to this encryption and all this kind of stuff. So I think that this is an example of that, which is, it's good. Like, it's saying what he wants to say. I think at a time when they really started to ramp that up because they're doing more services stuff. But yeah.
So
I don't think he said it in the best way in this instance, honestly.
No. So B or C? A?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
No F tier quotes yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So this is the one I was just referencing. So Tim is it's later in the day at the Goldman Sachs conference. And somebody asks him about the fact that they're like referencing, that people in China, they're not going to want to buy expensive products. Hilarious to think of that, right? And so Tim says, well, let me tell you, it's a bunch of bull. It's not true. And I've got more of the quote here. People everywhere in this world want a great product, and that doesn't mean that every single person in the world can afford one yet, but everyone wants one. And so if we do our jobs right and keep making great products, I think there's a pretty good business there for us. And oh boy, was he right. Yeah. Oh boy, was he right.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the energy. It's a bunch of bull, everybody.
Yeah. Feisty team is my favorite team.
Yeah.
Goldman Sachs conference seems to really bring it out in them.
Man, they should bring that back.
I want it back. I want the D conference back and the Goldman Sachs conference. And I want people to write it.
What are we thinking here, boys?
A?
I think it's A tier. Yeah, I think it's A tier. I love it. Bit of energy.
Okay. In 2015, Tim Cook spoke at the George Washington University commencement. And I will say, out of all the commencement speeches CEOs have given, this is not the one I remember.
Apple CEOs specifically?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, there's another one that really sticks out at me. Anyways, Kim Cook says, graduates, your values matter. They are your North Star. Otherwise, it's just a job, and life is too short for that.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Look, this is a fine thing to say at a commencement speech, you
Mhm.
know, but it is not an all-timer in the sense that nobody remembers this happened.
Yeah. Steve Jobs at Stanford in 2005. We'll put a link in the show notes. Like, it's next level. All right. This is one of my favorites. In 2015 at WSJD Live, this was like when the D conference had been absorbed, I guess.
Yeah.
And Apple was doing Bezos charts, which is very funny because now they don't even break out product sales numbers. Like, this is before even then. He's asked about specific Apple Watch numbers, and he says, we shipped a lot in the first quarter. Then last quarter, we shipped even more. I don't know why this tickles me so much, but it's like, you answered exactly what the problem that people were asking you about. I don't know, it's just very funny to me.
I think it gets me because it's almost Trumpian in its nature. This quote, like it's we shipped a lot and then we shipped even more. Like it doesn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's D tier.
D, you know.
No,
what are you even?
I don't think it's funny enough. Like, and I don't even know if he's trying to be funny. You know.
Okay.
What's your pitch then, Stephen? You didn't seem happy about D.
I do think it's funny because he's winking at the question.
Okay.
D feels harsh. I'd settle for C. D feels harsh.
Okay, I'm trying to explore the scale. You know.
Yeah,
we could go with C on this one, but I'm trying to explore the scale.
Yeah, we could. This may be one we revisit.
We're very much in the bell curve here.
We are, very much are.
But I think that's how tier list should be anyway, though, really.
Probably so. Okay. 2015, Charlie Rose interview. The privacy and national security argument, which never goes away, is raging. He's asked if we should have how these things interact. And he says, we're America. We should have both.
F.
See, I'm in like a similar vibe to Federico here. Because it's like, I find it so eye-rolly, right? Because I'm not American. So I roll my eyes immediately at the we're America part.
Yeah.
And also it's like, what about the rest of the world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't we all have both?
No.
Mm.
No, this whole. I mean, I get it. You know, everyone has their national pride
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot.
But like, just as it goes, if you have national pride, everybody else is going to roll their eyes at you. Like that's just
Yeah, it's just
in
human
those
nature.
moments, everybody is how it goes.
Yeah, I guess I'm also. It's hard to evaluate this quote after all the tensions between Apple and the European Union.
Yeah.
So it's. I mean, it's low. It's on the low end for me. For sure. Okay, maybe not F, but
Maybe E.
I think it's E.
I don't love it.
Yeah.
Personally. So
Because it's also just not even that good anyway. Like I don't think he made the point in a great way there. So
yeah.
Okay.
What is this?
This is Apple in Apple's shareholder meeting.
Oh, of course.
He's asked
Another
about the
one.
car. It's February 2016, so Project Titan rumors are everywhere. Is it coming?
Yeah. I
When
guess
is it
you're
coming,
right.
Tim?
Okay.
Tim says, well, it's going to be Christmas Eve for a while.
Oh, Tim.
No.
Oh, Tim.
No. F. No. No. You wasted billions of dollars and hundreds, thousands of employees, and it never shipped, and you canceled the whole thing.
F.
F.
Yeah.
Straight to jail.
Your first F. Okay.
Okay. 2016, also, we have San Bernardino in the news where there was a locked iPhone. The FBI wanted Apple to unlock it to get information about the shooter. Apple said no. The FBI went and did secret things, I guess. got on the phone. This was, I mean, I had going through this in preparation, like reflecting on this now is a little bit like we should have both quotes. Like, this was such a big deal and rightfully so, but boy, was it the tip of the iceberg, right? We're still having this argument today.
Yes, but I think that they have stood on business of this still. So, like, I think that the San Bernardino thing, I think was a pretty defining part of Tim Cook's Apple.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That, like, they would, there are obviously holes in this argument, but they would stand firm in, like, we just had it in the UK, right? That, like, the UK wanted a back door and Apple seemingly threatened to leave the country.
Yeah.
And so, like, and the San Bernardino thing was a big deal. And I think that this quote is a pretty good one, right? The problem is the key that turns 1 billion locks is an encryption key. They gave them to China. So in America, no one should have a key that turns 1 billion locks, I guess. But, like, they ended up, well, they didn't give the keys. They host the servers, right? It's unknown exactly the level of access that the CCP has to iCloud servers. But anyway, I still think this is a good quote, and I think it was a pretty important part of Tim's kind of like earlier days.
So,
Gravitating toward B, maybe?
Yeah.
B? Okay.
Yeah.
That was a wild thing to talk about at the time.
Oh, man. That was... It feels like such a long time. I mean, it was 10 years. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But it feels like a world away.
Yeah.
Okay. This is sort of a repeat of the quote we saw earlier.
He's got another go. He's taking another at-bat on this one.
This time, it's about Apple's approach to smartphone market share and India. And he goes back to the well. Our goal has never been to make the most. It's always been to make the best.
He likes this quote.
And you know
So
what?
wait, what was it that he said the first time?
I don't consider it. Can you close the little pop-ups?
Yeah.
Here? I don't consider our job to make the most. It is our job to make the best.
That was 3 years before this quote, but basically the same thing.
Yeah. So same tier.
No.
No,
I think
because he reuses it.
Because he's reused it and it isn't any better.
I think it's D.
So
yeah.
So yeah, D, because recycled quote, we don't like it.
Also, Apple definitely wants to make the most phones that it can to sell in India.
Yes.
Like, who are we
and
kidding?
also, like, I don't consider is stronger than our goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? Put yourself into this, Tim.
I know. Come on. Think about the risk, man.
Yeah.
Okay. 2017. This is from Quartz, a website that I've forgotten existed. Is it even still? Is it still being published?
Whoa, Quartz! I've forgotten about Quartz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, they loved their daily newsletter. She that was a big thing for her. She loved the Quartz newsletter. She'd always tell me things that she'd read in it.
Did she read this, you think?
I'm not sure. This is Tim talking to MIT graduates about internet noise, and he says, "Don't listen to the trolls, and for God's sake, don't become one." This is essentially Tim saying, "F the haters." You know, this is Tim's. Tim, like, I love this.
Yeah,
this is so great.
Let me read the whole paragraph because I think it's weaker in context.
No, but we're just pulling this quote.
But it's a good line in a paragraph full of cliches.
Okay.
Don't let that noise knock you off course. Don't get caught up in the trivial aspects of life. Don't listen to trolls, and for God's sake, don't become one. Measure your impact in humanity, not in the likes, but the lives you touch. Not in popularity, but in the people you serve.
I think that's good. Remember, this is 2017.
This was written
think...
by ChatGPT 5 years before ChatGPT existed.
No, like, the thing is, these things have become platitudes. I don't know how much we were saying them in 2017, right?
Maybe.
I think it was a newer thing then.
It's a solid take. It's a B.
I like it. I like it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a B. Okay. We have our next.
I got a spoiler for you boys. This is not the last time we're gonna get the word trolls from Mr. Cook.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it
I'm
comes
excited.
back.
Wow. Did you see the thing where OpenAI had to censor the latest GPT 5.5 because he was obsessed with goblins? Did you see this?
I didn't see that.
They published a blog post last night after a bunch of people noticed, and basically they confirmed that they had to do some special reinforcement learning training because GPT 5.5 was obsessed with little creatures like goblins and trolls.
The blog post is called "Where the Goblins Came From."
Yeah.
What world are we in now? Where are we now?
A
Are
really
we in
I
a
know,
kids'
man.
book now?
It's wild. Anyway, trolls and goblins. But back to the quote. Back to this
Okay.
all-timer.
This is Tim Cook during, I guess, the quarterly result call in 2017. And the quote is, autonomy is sort of the mother of all AI projects. And the context of this, of course, is autonomous driving. Something that we still really haven't achieved at the level that I think people want. But in 2017, Apple was reportedly focused on this. And we now know from like the Pogue book and others that there was a version of the car floating around Apple that had like no steering wheel and like you sat backwards so you could see your friends. Very strange. But it's the mother of all AI projects.
I can't even conceptualize in 2017 what were you thinking AI was.
Yeah.
Like
it's machine learning, right? It's like teaching a computer.
Yeah, but they used to say machine learning.
Yeah. In 2017, they were saying machine learning.
So Apple used to call some machine learning. What was AI? Anyway, this is dumb. This is dumb.
E, F.
E.
I will push for any Project Titan related quotes to go to F tier.
I think I agree. F.
I can do that. This actually should just be like the T tier for Titan.
The T tier.
Oh man. Okay. 2018. Man, people are so obsessed with asking Tim Cook about how many iPhones they sell.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
sure. It's the whole business.
I mean, it's like
business.
you ask like the car company how many cars they sell. Like, it's what they sell.
Yeah, but when you see them all back to back like this, it really jumped out at
Fair
me.
enough. Yeah. And you know what's probably why he gets so angry.
Yeah, that's right. So 2018, he is asked about the iPhone 10 being high end and a niche product, which of course, before we get to the quote, this is the dumbest possible question an analyst could ask. Like, if you pay any attention to technology over the last 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, technology starts expensive at the top and it rolls downhill and becomes mainstream. This question is so dumb because it just ignores that that's the fact of how these things work. Anyways,
Stephen
do better.
Hackett, big proponent of Vision Pro.
Huge. No, that's
Starting at the top.
That's the exception to the rule because
It has to be one. It has to be
AR.
one.
Yeah. Anyways, so he's asked about the iPhone 10. Cook says, "You don't become the top selling smartphone in the world by being a niche product, right?"
Mm.
I mean, sure, fine.
Yeah.
D.
C, D.
D.
C.
I did say it's fine, and it says fine right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
C.
Yeah.
Oh, this one I love.
All right.
is a
Tell
great
us
one.
about it.
Yeah. So this was Steven. Can you open the link? I just wanted to confirm. This was in regards to remember the Cambridge Analytica scandal
Yes.
Yeah.
that Facebook found itself in with the data leak. Tim Cook was asked about what he would do if he was faced with the same sort of problems that Mark Zuckerberg was facing at the time, and he simply replied, "I wouldn't be in this situation."
Ice cold.
Yep.
Ice cold.
S.
Love it.
Tier.
S. This is
What is
S
also
tier.
so great about this is like, you got to have the guts to say this,
Yeah.
right? Like, you've got to feel very confident that you can say this and mean it,
Yeah.
right? That like this
Mhm.
isn't going to come for you, like something like this. So yeah, this is good. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. That is an S tier. I wouldn't be in this situation.
Feisty and ice cold Tim Cook are the best team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. 2018, Tim Cook. He's speaking now at Duke's commencement.
Okay.
Wow. How many commencements can he do?
So many. And he's watched the Steve Jobs one and he's tried to punch it up a little bit.
Someone's like,
It's
hey,
let's-
have you seen this video?
Let's give it another go.
You should really watch this.
His YouTube recommended page was really going for him one day.
Let's inspire the youth with a second go at it.
Don't
What is-
mention trolls. Do not mention trolls and see where we can end up.
Yeah. So in the commencement speech, he's got a line. The question we ask ourselves is not what we can do, but what we should do. What should we do? What should we do?
Yeah,
Okay.
what can we do, but what should we do?
Yes.
Okay.
So maybe he fell asleep during the Jobs video a little bit. Not killer.
This is a terrible quote. It's not really inspiring at all. So
D.
D.
Yeah.
D it is.
Okay.
Okay.
I love this one. All right, so 2018. Again, talking about AI, and I don't understand anymore what the. Oh, he's talking about like screen time. This is the
This was the
digital well-being time.
Digital well-being.
digital well-being.
We were
Everybody
in digital
cared.
well-being territory. It's June of 2018. Everybody decided this is what we were focusing on.
Yep.
I think one day there will be a tell-all book that will say that there was some meeting between Apple and Google where everybody decided that they were doing this, so they would try and get out of some kind of legislation.
Mm-hmm.
And so talking about screen time and stuff, Tim says, I don't really worry about machines thinking like people. I worry about people thinking like machines.
That's deep, man.
Is it deep?
It's terrible.
It's deep in the way that when you're a freshman in college and you're in your dorm room talking about things, you feel like everything
Yes.
is deep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, the future would say you probably should worry about machines thinking like people. Like, that's coming
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
He doesn't
I think
Nobody
it's
knew.
I think it's C.
No.
D?
Lord.
No, it's worse.
D.
It's worse.
I would go to E. I think
I would
this
go
is just
to
like
E.
terrible. Like, he's
I
not
would
really
go to
saying
E.
anything, and what he is saying is not even that profound.
This
You know what? Like,
totally reads like a college kid high on something. Be like,
yeah.
I don't really worry about machines, man. Thinking like people, man. I worry about the people thinking like machines, man. Like it reads like that.
And is your color green the same color green as the green I see?
That's concerning. Okay. We're winding down 2018 now.
Yeah.
This is another personal data collection issue. This is, and I'm going to quote the
By the
full
way,
name.
Get ready. He speaks. You know how Tim Cook used to speak at Goldman Sachs.
Mm-hmm.
He then started speaking a lot at the Data Protection
Yeah.
and Privacy Commission conferences
Yes.
in Brussels. There are many of these
Yeah.
to come.
Yes.
The
Yes.
ICDP PC in Brussels, as
Yep.
it's known in the industry.
Yeah.
That's what we call it in the industry.
We shouldn't sugarcoat the consequences. This is surveillance, and these stockpiles of personal data serve only to enrich the companies that collect them.
So he is talking about everyone here. He is talking about Google. He is talking about Facebook. He is talking about everyone. And I think it's this one, but it might be ones later on where he's either sowing the seeds for or talking about app tracking transparency. It's like around that kind of time.
C?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it because this is like another area of time in which he's like going for the jugular. So yeah, but see, there's better ones.
It's
It's not punchy enough to be like super memorable. Memorable.
Hello.
Memorable.
Memorable. This episode is brought to you
No,
by
it's
Steven's
not.
brain.
Memorable.
He's really trying to keep the square space in his brain, this one.
I know.
He's really trying his
know.
best.
We are now entering the modern era. We have 15 quotes left to go out of the 44 we collected.
We can do this.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by Sentry. If you're a developer and you've had frustrations about your apps breaking, stalling, having latency, it can be really, really frustrating. And that's where Sentry comes in. Instead of dealing with messy logs, Sentry puts all the things you need into one place. They have logs too, but they've just made them usable. Sentry, that's spelled Sentry, Sentry, their logs are trace connected and structured, so you can follow the request flow and filter by whatever matters. And because Sentry surfaces the context right where you're debugging, the trace, relevant logs, and the error, even the session replay, they all land in one timeline, so you're not having to jump around between tools and trying to match up timestamps. Whether you're debugging a front end, a back end, something mobile, Sentry gives you the context you need so you can fix the problem and move on. More than 4.5 million developers use it, including our developer here at Relay. And, little companies like Anthropic and Disney+. Try it for free at Sentry.io, Sentry, Sentry.io, and tell them that we sent you. They have a free dev plan that listeners of the show can use, and the code Connected26 will get you $100 in Sentry credits. So there's a free dev plan waiting for you at Sentry.io, and if you use the code Connected26, you get $100 in free Sentry credits. Our thanks to Sentry for the support of the show and Relay. That means it's 2019, I suppose. So here we are.
Yeah.
Tim Cook says, Apple's most important contribution to mankind has been in health.
I mean, this is just wrong, right?
Well, I think he thinks it's right. And I think he's come back to this recently.
More than the mouse? Like the entire graphical user interface?
So the context is of how Apple's legacy may be judged in the future, which I think he thinks is his legacy.
Right.
Also, you should say humankind, not mankind, Tim. Well, come on. What are you doing?
I think this is 2019 now. It's a different time.
I guess so.
Different time. Maybe what he's trying to get across here, I think, which is what you're saying too, Stephen, is like maybe some of the things like computers and smartphones we may look back negatively on, but we can all be happy about like our health being better kind of thing. So maybe he's trying to maybe people won't like the screens, but they'll be happy that we were taking their blood pressure or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, in this interview, it's with Jim Cramer, by the way, so just have that in the back of your head.
Also loves Cramer. He loves Mad Money.
Yeah. I mean, he's running around. He's hitting sound effect buttons.
Mm-hmm.
He goes on to say, because our business has always been about enriching people's lives, and as we've gotten into healthcare more and more through the watch and through other things like Research Kit and Care Kit and putting your medical records on the iPhone, this is a huge deal. I mean, it's fine. It feels B.
It's fine.
C?
It's fine. It's a B maybe.
Put it in B because I just want to stop putting things in C.
Yeah, the sentiment is correct. Not the greatest quote, but it's a B.
A B. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. More about screen time and digital well-being.
This is truly a reflection of that era.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And think about the front of the Vision Pro headset when I say this. If you're looking at a phone more than someone's eyes, you're doing the wrong thing.
Exactly. So we put the eyes on the screens.
Yeah.
That's how
Oh,
we
yeah.
fix it.
Yes. This is another CNBC thing. I think this is one of those classic quotes that we have seen today of Cook thinks it's more clever than it actually is, or like more punchy than it actually is.
Yeah.
I don't think he's wrong, but I don't think it's as impactful as maybe he wanted it to be.
It's also not impactful from the screens company, right? Like it's not impactful from the phone maker, right?
Yeah.
Like you did this.
Yeah, that's the thing that absolutely I understand people wanting redemption and like making changes, and people can do those things. But when a bunch of people who invented the iPhone run around and be like, we need something without screens, the screens are ruining. It's like, yeah, like you said, Myke, we did this. I think it's D. I think it's D.
Yeah.
D or E? One of the two.
Let's go D.
D.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yet another graduation commencement, this time to Tulane in 2019. Myke, I think you should read this because it's got trolls in it again.
Is this the Trolls one? Fantastic. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. All right. So he loves trolls at commencement speeches. What is going on? When you find empathy, the political noise dies down and you can feel your feet firmly planted on solid ground. After all, we don't build monuments to trolls, and we're not going to start now. I don't know what he's talking about.
It doesn't age
know
well.
what he's talking about.
It doesn't age well.
We don't build monuments to trolls.
Monuments to trolls.
Do you give them trophies?
Yeah. Yes. Well, we don't build monuments. We make trophies instead. It's
I think
a different thing.
I think it's D. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a little naive. And again, it feels like one of those commencement sentences that like doesn't really make a lot of sense when you break it down.
Yeah. It's aged very badly because it's like it screams of like both sidesism, you know?
Yeah.
It's not. I don't like this quote really, you know.
So would you say you don't love it?
I would say yikes, don't love this. I could say that. Yeah. So that means it's an E tier.
Okay.
I'm happy the trolls are back though. If anything,
they never left, Myke.
They never left. The trolls are in the room with us the whole time.
All right. Summer of 2019. This is again CNBC. And a commencement speech, I guess, reported on by CNBC. He's at Stanford this time.
He's doing another commencement.
He did. I had no idea he's done so many of these, honestly.
He'll just do them. You know, it's like every university wants him to do it, right? He's the CEO of Apple. And it turns out, if you just ask, he'll do it.
You know, my youngest is getting ready to graduate 5th grade. Maybe Tim Cook could come.
You should ask.
Talk about that.
He hasn't got so much to do anymore. He's going to do even more of them.
Yeah. So in this, he warns that Silicon Valley needs to take responsibility for the chaos that it has created. I'm going to read it in context. So Cook said, lately, it seems this industry is becoming better known for a less noble innovation, the belief that you can claim credit without accepting responsibility. We see it every day now with every data breach, every privacy violation, every blind eye towards hate speech, fake news poisoning our national conversation, the false miracles in exchange for a single drop of your blood. That's intense. He continued, it feels a bit crazy that anyone would have to say this, but if you built a chaos factory, you can't dodge responsibility for the chaos.
I think he finally worked out how to do a commencement speech.
Yeah.
Because this is good. I like this one. I like this one.
I think it's solid.
I would give him an A tier for this. I like the reference of blood. Yeah, I don't even know why blood's in it. Like great. Yeah. You'd give it like what are you doing? Like some kind of ritual? I love it. Let's go.
Okay. A it is. Yet another.
He's done so many commencement speeches.
This is a virtual one though.
Oh, boo.
It was COVID, May 2020.
Oh, I guess not boo. I don't know why I booed that. No, Tim, go talk to them in person.
Yeah.
Why was I so mad about that? It was May of 2020.
I do remember this one because he's like talking into a camera, I guess in his office or on a set somewhere at Apple, and he's wearing an Ohio State shirt. Tim Cook is not an Ohio State fan, but I guess he's playing to the crowd.
He's dressing down, you know?
He is dressed down. Also,
he's at home.
This is Tim Cook's swole arm era. Look at this picture. Like,
do you think he had trousers on?
Where's the picture?
It's in the new. It's in the here. I'll put it in the. Y'all can see it.
What are you doing? Oh, yeah.
Swole.
I remember this now.
Swole.
He's got
arms.
Ohio bookmarks.
I know. That's what I'm saying. He's really sucking up. The football
Why
has
did
a little
it go this hard?
little football has an Ohio State. I don't know. Anyways, he says it can be difficult to see the whole picture when you're still inside the frame.
Tim, what happened? You
Mm.
finally got good at them. Why did you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's all COVID-y too, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, and while we aren't shoulder to shoulder in the horseshoe, filling it to the rafters, I know your parents, your loved one. I mean, you can't really fault him for like being COVID-y during COVID.
I mean, it was
know?
May
Yeah.
2020. We all were.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
this is too COVID-y though. As a
Yeah,
quote.
but I feel like I can't mark him down on that one.
I think it's
Like,
it's
not
C. I
his
think it's
fault.
right in the middle. Like
Yeah,
Let's
let's be
see.
kind to this one. I
C for
suppose.
COVID.
I'll take. Sure.
You should have said the novel coronavirus, but
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
Stephen. Jeez. And by the way, Stephen, if you're saying C for COVID, are you also saying that COVID is fine?
It's not what I said at all,
Wow.
Mike.
It's not what he said. It's not what he said. This is incredible. All right, this one, 2020, July of 2020. Cook is defending to the House antitrust test, and to the House antitrust. He's doing he's defending to them about the App Store, right? And he says, clearly, if Apple is a gatekeeper, what we have done is open the gate wider. Straight to jail. F tier.
Straight to jail.
Terrible. Terrible.
Yeah.
This is abysmally bad.
Yeah, no.
Because you haven't opened the gate wider. And also, don't metaphor the metaphor. Like, we're in this enough at this point. Like,
Mm-hmm.
come on. It's just start talking about the walled garden. Like, what are we doing? Like,
Yeah.
get out of town.
Yeah.
Mhm.
F tier for sure.
F.
Okay, Mike. Here is your app tracking transparency.
Ah.
Oh,
Look, he's
there we
back
go.
at the
Okay.
CPDP.
See, yes.
That's where he is.
Oh, it's my birthday, January 28th.
Speaking about Stephen, he said, as I've said before, if we accept as normal and unavoidable that everything in our lives can be aggregated and sold, we lose so much more than data. We lose the freedom to be human.
Okay. He kind of wanted to be poetic a little, I think.
Sure.
I think B or C.
It's
Can we put this in the context of app tracking transparency? Or do we want to put it in the context of that? Because
Yeah.
that is a system that ultimately did not work.
Yeah. Tell us about that. Because why? Why do you say it didn't work?
Well, essentially, app tracking transparency was going after Facebook and Instagram. Like that was ultimately what they were trying to do. Maybe I have a view here that everyone doesn't agree with, but I'm saying it anyway. Like I think is what they were clearly going for, to try and reduce the amount of snooping or whatever, like the data sharing that was occurring in those platforms for advertising. But I believe also with the sub goal of what if we get everybody to pay us for App Store advertising instead of Meta,
Yeah.
right? Or like Instagram at the time, right? Because Instagram were making a ton of money through specifically people being able to advertise apps and then know they were installed once they were downloaded, right? And app tracking transparency cut that off completely. And also, as well, a lot of smaller companies and smaller businesses and just businesses in general advertising on Instagram and Facebook, right? So they were unable to know for a period of time if their advertising was successful because Apple made the app tracking transparency stuff and also did like the opt-in and all that kind of stuff. While it's great to be able to opt in or opt out or like kind of opt in and opt out of data tracking, it didn't work. It just didn't work because over time, Meta just worked out a new system. And now they can tell you, just based on the amount of data that they collect, if something is successful or not. It's like it didn't change anything, and I think made things a lot harder for a lot of other people in the process. Like I just don't think they went hard enough, and I think that Apple had an ulterior motive as well. Because over the same time period, search ads in the App Store have gotten so egregious.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it goes back to the part of like Apple believing that they own every customer, that every person on that uses iOS is their customer, and it's okay if they use that data because it's their customers. So I got a lot of opinions on this. I just don't think that they did a very good job with this whole system, but they tout it as if they made our lives better. But anyway,
So
that's what I got to say.
E.
Yeah.
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 I don't disagree with the sentiment behind this, but
Sure.
the timing of it and the context are what hurt it. Okay.
Oh no.
Okay. This is a transcript of Tim Cook on Kara Swisher's Sway podcast. All right. Tim says, so he's talking about the autonomous car. He's talking about autonomy in cars. He says, if you sort of step back, the car, in a lot of ways, is a robot. An autonomous car is a robot. We investigate so many things internally. Many of them never see the light of day. I'm not saying that one will not.
You know what I think of these?
Straight to jail.
Straight to jail. It's like word salad. I mean, this is the problem with transcribing podcasts anyway. Like, podcast transcripts are not particularly readable for this reason. But yeah, this just didn't work out. This just did not work out.
Yeah.
I like that he's saying, he's like double backing on himself multiple times, right?
Mhm.
We're investigating this, but we're not going to release it, but we might, but we won't. It's terrible. It's a terrible
F.
quote.
F tier.
Yeah.
Okay. This is at the Code Conference. This one,
Yep.
I think most people remember.
Yes.
And an audience, it was open mic question situation, which I don't think Tim Cook has done many of, ever.
Yep. I respect him agreeing to it.
Me too. So this audience member says, hey, it's difficult to video message and text with my mom. I'm on an iPhone. She's on an Android phone. And Tim Cook says, and I quote, buy your mom an iPhone.
S tier.
See, I think this quote only exists in either S or F, right? Like it doesn't exist anywhere else.
It wraps all the way around.
I don't know how. I feel like depending on the day, I will go in either direction. It's like an S tier thing for him to say. It's also a terrible thing to say.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I like it. So let's go S tier.
Yeah, it's S tier. I mean,
It's S tier.
the chaos of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's also like it was really funny. Like I think in the room it played as funny. He was making a joke, but it's just one of these things that like out of the context of him being funny, it sounds pretty mean,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think this was a good joke, a fast joke and well made.
Yeah.
It's probably the
Yeah.
joke I would make and also get in trouble for it.
S tier. 2022, Apple CEO Tim Cook. Are you familiar with Apple CEO Tim Cook?
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
Wait, you mean Tim Cook?
Cook.
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 This is the fall of 2022. There's a lot of metaverse conversations, right? Myke's doing an episode of Cortex in the metaverse without any legs.
Yep. I did it,
And,
man. I spent so much money on that thing.
That was the time.
The Meta Pro, and then they brought out like the next Quest, and it was already better and like a third the price. Good time.
There was a little rash of Apple being asked and answering questions about metaverse. I think Eddie Q said something about it at some point. But Tim Cook is asked about it, about their like AR language versus metaverse and who's going to control all this. And Tim Cook says, I'm really not sure the average person can tell you what the metaverse is.
Great burn.
S tier.
Yeah.
Oh, S tier? Okay.
S tier.
Mm.
It has the same energy, I think, about some of the others. Also, Tim Cook just hates Facebook and Meta and Zuckerberg. Like, and this all just, I think this is really funny, and I think it's S tier.
Yeah,
it
I
would
can go
not
with
be
that.
S tier if they hadn't renamed the company Meta, but they did, and that's like the cherry on top of this for me. Is
Yeah.
that
Yeah, you're right.
they changed the whole name of the company, and just this week as we're recording this, they're laying off tens of thousands of people who worked on this, which sucks. But
Yep.
I'm not sure the average person can tell you what the metaverse is. It's so good to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
All that's left from the metaverse is there's a company called Meta.
Exactly.
That's it.
Boys, we're in the final stretch.
Okay, 2023. So 2023, Tim is now talking to GQ. Tim is in his magazine era now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he is reflecting on growing up gay in the South, and the rural South specifically. and he was perceived as an outsider. And he said, "I've never been described as normal." I love this quote. I love it. It's great.
Yeah, I think it's really
A-tier.
good.
Yeah, it's great. It's great on so many levels, because I think he's saying on many levels, So I love it. I think it's great.
Okay, on Good Morning America in the summer of 2023. This is right after the Vision Pro is announced at WWDC, which if you haven't rewatched that section of that keynote, it's really interesting. Like some of the things that they do and show in there, just in hindsight, fascinating. And there's a lot of language in there and around Apple at the time of like, we've brought the future into the present. I think that's something like John Turnus even said recently in an interview about the Vision Pro specifically. Now, Good Morning America, Tim Cook says about the Vision Pro, it's tomorrow's engineering today.
I mean, that is the best thing you can say about the Vision Pro, I think. Right? Like, I think the thing that we've all come down on is it is an incredible product to use. There's just not much to do with it, which is a shame.
Yeah.
So I'd say B tier.
I think B.
It's a B.
Yeah.
It's a B.
Yeah.
This one's one of my favorites.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, so I this is one of the quotes where I poured in a lot more than what was there. So this is on the Q1 2024 analyst call. Cook says, in terms of generative AI, we have a lot of work going on internally, as I've alluded to before. Our MO has always been to do work and then talk about work and not to get out in front of ourselves. And so we're going to hold to that. We're going to hold that to this as well.
Sure, Tim. Yeah, you sure did.
The great context here is in March of 2024, Cook is saying, we're not going to show things that we're not going to do.
Yeah.
In June of 2024, they showed a bunch of things they never did. It's so good.
Yeah.
This is excellent.
You know where this goes.
Straight to jail. F tier.
F tier.
Oh, Tim. Oh,
man.
so bad. I love it.
So good. So good. All right. January 15th of 2025. So what? 13, 14 months ago?
Yeah.
Mhm.
He is on the Table Manners podcast on CNBC. And he's
Table Manners. CNBC wrote about it. Table Manners is a separate thing.
I don't pay attention to either. So thank you.
That's okay.
Thank you for the context, Myke.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I said that so aggressively. Thank you for the context.
Yeah, I know. It's like I'm giving you the correction to what you're saying.
Yeah, no, you saved us some email. Okay, so he's asked about retirement. Tim Cook says, I don't see being at home doing nothing and not being intellectually stimulated and thinking about how tomorrow can be better than today. I think I'll always kind of be wired in that kind of way and want to work.
Yeah. That we know for sure is going to be executive chairman next.
Yeah. I think it's B. I think this is what came to pass. I would imagine that in January of 25, this is already on his mind and maybe even being spoken about in the company. And I think it's true. Like we and other commentators have talked a lot about how the people on the Apple leadership page, a lot of these people have been there a really long time. They're not there for the money, clearly at this point, but they're there because they want to be, that they like these challenges, and that they're wired to work. And I think Tim Cook is like the poster child for that at Apple. So
Yeah.
I think it's B.
This is absolutely true to who he is as a person.
Yes.
Right?
For sure.
You read that and you're like, yes, I believe that you will be that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think B. What do y'all think?
Yeah.
B?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is our final quote. This came out on Apple's 50th, April 1st. This is to Esquire. Cook says, you have to have a ruthless filter because you can't do everything. You can't spread your energy like a peanut butter spread. If you do, you'll do nothing at the quality level that we desire. Was he hungry?
Peanut butter. I could go for some peanut butter.
Also, like, peanut butter spread?
Yeah, that's weird.
Why
That's
would
weird.
you say it like that?
Yeah. I think it's...
Can you verify? Can you open the article, Stephen? Can you verify that he did say
Yeah,
peanut
make sure
butter
that's not-
spread?
No, he did. I checked it. This is one of the ones that
Oh,
I
yeah?
went in. So the original
Wow.
quote from your system just said peanut
Yeah.
butter spread. It's like, I
Peanut
don't know what
butter
to do with
spread.
that. I got to find out more.
I think
So-
I think what happened, you can't spread your energy, and then I think spread came out again.
Yeah.
He goes
Yeah.
on to say, we say no to 1,000 things to get to that one thing. If you were to parachute into an Apple meeting, the debates that go on here are just incredible. And the right of the article. Cook pauses.
This
He
is
pauses,
takes
takes
a
a
few
few
steps.
steps, and shakes his head. Incredible, he says, almost
Yeah.
to himself.
This is a good article, by the way. I'm going to put a link in the show notes to this. This is, I think, the only article that was the only person, so it's Ryan D'Agostino, who actually got Tim to say anything about the Trump administration. So this is a good article. Like it's written well, and that part of it is particularly interesting. So
Yeah.
read it.
B?
No, this is bad. I don't like this quote.
Oh.
Peanut butter spread? What are you talking about?
So
D.
D?
Yeah.
D for-
Not it, Chief.
D for peanut butter.
There are
D,
too
yeah.
many things on this list to re-rank, so I'm happy with where we are.
Yeah.
I'm happy with where we
Yeah.
are.
Export the image.
Yeah.
Did you? Let's see what you got, Steven.
Yeah, I got all of them. It's very wide. I will do some editing in Photoshop, but yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
Nice.
This
It
is
is
fun.
It's a huge bell curve. Like it's I'll put it in Discord right now. It's exactly what you would think it would be
As a tier list.
as a tier
Good
list.
stuff. Great idea, Federico.
Really
Well,
good
thank
idea.
you. Thank you.
We should do more of
Man,
these.
I don't know if it's the length of the episode or the peanut butter, but I'm so hungry.
It's probably a bit above.
Probably.
Yeah. Oh, that's a wide image.
Yeah, I'll bring it in. I'll fix it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think that closes this out. So, if you want to find stuff in the links in the show notes, we didn't link to every article we referenced. That was just going to be like 1,000 things. We hit the highlights though in the show notes. You can go find those at relay.fm/connected/601. They're also in your podcast player of choice. Couple of links there that you should check out. The first one is to leave us feedback or follow up. It goes to a form on our website. It can be anonymous. You can leave us things there, leave us comments. You can also join and get Connected Pro, which is the longer and ad-free version of the show that we do each and every week. This week, we did a little check-in on our home networking, and I got called out a little bit for going overboard, but that's fine. Everyone needs a hobby, as we decided.
Yes.
That's just $7 a month. It's a great deal. No ads, longer episodes, and you get a bunch of great stuff from Relay, access to the Discord, a newsletter, a couple of members-only podcasts. So go check that out. If you want to hear more of us, we are around. You can find Prince Flexi Federico. He's the editor-in-chief of MacStories.net. Anything big leading up to WWC you're working on over there?
I am still working on my Shortcuts Playground generative thing for making shortcuts with AI. And I've been working on this for 5 months at this point. It went from a simple skill in Markdown to an actual like plugin for both Claude and Codex. I really want to release it in the month of May at this point, just before WWDC. So that's I think gonna be my thing for my big thing for this month, and then just regular work.
Yeah.
You haven't got like a big article planned that's gonna like drop a hole into someone's life like you sometimes do in like the end of May.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
That's I have done it a couple of times, and every time I felt kind of bad about it. So and plus I'm more in a sort of like building mindset right now. I just want to make
Right.
cool stuff for people right now. I don't want to tear anybody down. So
Love
Yeah.
it.
That's awesome. You can find Myke on a bunch of other shows here on Relay and his work at Cortex Brand, and he blogs at theenthusiast.net. Anything you got going on?
I'm very busy right now on something I can't talk about, but
Oh.
people will know about it soon.
okay.
Okay.
Watch out for that. You don't know what you're watching out for, but just keep
Okay.
watching.
Keep it locked.
Mm-hmm.
I've been your Attorney General Flexi. You can find my writing over at 512pixels.net. And hey, we launched a new version of Pedometer Plus Plus this week, and it's really good. Go check it out.
It's very good.
Particularly good on the Apple Watch. That's
Yes.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'll say that.
It is. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week for their support of the show, Kelford Inc., Doc Pops, and Century. Until next time, guys, say goodbye.
Arrivederci.
Cheerio.
Bye, y'all.